Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Last Lap. My name is Jimmy, and in today's episode, we're going to be breaking down some news that came out in the NASCAR world this week, and we're also going to be previewing all of the action that is going to be going into this weekend at Fontana. But before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button. It goes a long way, helps our channel grow. And you can also check us out on our Instagram page at The Last Lap News. We try to post some content throughout the week over there as well. And as always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show as always. And this is going to be a real test this week at Fontana to see who is going to be a competitor throughout the whole year, because this is the first real race of the season besides the Clash and the Daytona 500. So Matthew has a feel to be heading into the second week of the season.
Well, to quote Kyle Busch there, we're going to a real racetrack, so I can't wait to see how that goes. It's going to be interesting to see which teams have basically are ahead with this next gen car compared to others. Will a mid-pack team from last year be up front? Will a top team be back a little bit? Or maybe it'll be the same thing. Maybe it'll be the same as always. So we'll see in Fontana this weekend.
Alright, so I'm going to talk about two pieces of news first, and then we'll talk about the third piece together. So the first two pieces of news, the first one is that it was announced that Ryan Truex is going to be racing in a few races in that number 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. He will be racing at Vegas, Martinsville, Darlington, and Texas. So I think that's a great opportunity for him. Joe Gibbs Racing is slowly starting to announce some drivers to fill in that 18 car since Kyle Busch is obviously done. Ty Gibbs has his own ride, and obviously the 18 isn't one driver full-time this year, so it's good to see Joe Gibbs Racing announce another driver to race a few races in that car. I hope he does well. It's a great opportunity for him, and I hope he does well. He's got 4 chances to make a name for himself and maybe get a win or two in there as well. And the second piece of this announcement is a few drivers were announced that they'll be in the SRX series. 3 of these drivers are returning, and one of them is new. The 3 that are returning are Greg Biffle, Bobby Labonte, and Michael Waltrip. And the new driver that will be competing is Ryan Newman. So I think that's cool for Ryan Newman to be part of it, especially since he doesn't really have much to do this season anyway, since he doesn't have a cup ride. And I'm excited that those other 3 drivers, Greg Biffle, Bobby Labonte, and Michael Waltrip, are returning. I'm excited to see how they do in their second season in SRX, and I'm excited to see what Ryan Newman does this year for his first season. So, Matthew, what do you got to say about the Ryan Truex news, and then about some of these drivers coming to the SRX series again?
Well, for the Ryan Truex news, this actually was a little bit surprising to me. I didn't see this one coming, but this is the best opportunity he has with it in his career. I mean, he's been in the Cup Series before, but it was with a defunct team now, and over the Xfinity Truck Series, he's been with some mediocre teams. So this is really like his best shot he's gotten. Of course, he's the younger brother of Martin Truex Jr. They're almost like twins almost. They got like the same hair, the same beard, and everything, except Ryan Truex is just like really young compared to Martin Truex. But I can't wait to see how he does for these next few races. I mean, anyone but Drew Dollar. That's all I have to say. So we'll see how Truex does. And then as for the SRX news, it's great to see more of those big NASCAR names back in the series. And it's great to see Ryan Newman's going to be in all the SRX races. Some people say he's retired from the Cup Series. I mean, it kind of looks that way. But it's great. It's great to see him back in the car since he's got a lot of free time, and we'll see how good he is since he's going to be one of the most recent Cup drivers who recently drove a Cup car to step in this series compared to some others, except for Greg Biffle. So I can't wait to see how he does.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't know if the official schedule for the SRX is out just yet, but it should be over the summer, so that'll be exciting to see them race for a few weeks. I think it was 6 weeks last year, so definitely looking forward to that. And the not really sure why NASCAR did that, but it'll be interesting to see how this is moving forward, because I'm pretty sure they could appeal the money team in college racing. I don't think they would, but yeah, it's definitely interesting to see where NASCAR is going on this. But Matthew, what do you have to say about the whole announcement of penalties for all these teams?
Well, it doesn't really surprise me that Gralla and Justin Haley got penalties. I mean, they lost the wheels during the race. Cascarella and Justin Haley's loose wheel incidents were, I think they were not really similar. Like Cascarella's incident, I think it was because the pit crew didn't get the lug nut on because the whole wheel came off. And Justin Haley had something else going on because basically the whole rear rim was destroyed and only the tire came off the car. So those were two different circumstances. And then Penske and RFK, they stated that NASCAR knew that they were making these changes and they weren't exactly like hiding it. Like they were just doing this in the wide open because they probably knew NASCAR probably knew about it already. And it was basically for safety purposes, as they didn't think that these the holes in the wheel rims, so I guess where that wheel lock goes on, wasn't big enough to hold that big nut on there. So I think NASCAR, especially with after what happened with those two incidents at the 500, I think it's a good idea to at least take those wheels and see, hey, they take them to the vendors that they're supplying these teams with, like, hey, we need to make these holes on the wheel rims bigger so that the pit stops are gonna be much better, and that these single wheel locks are not gonna come loose at all with being smaller holes. So I think it's great for NASCAR, at least, hey, these teams might have a point, and there's still adjustments do this next gen car ready to do, because the next gen car, even though it was already debuted, it's still a work in progress. I mean, we still got to get some bugs out, and this is definitely one of the bugs that we saw the 500. So I think it's great to, hey, we should probably reinforce this a little bit so that these incidents don't happen again, because we can't have loose wheels coming off, especially at smaller tracks when the velocity's like even greater. We saw Las Vegas last year with a regular racing car. They had a loose wheel with 5 lug nuts, and that was a big hit compared when we saw the 500 when they were able to just limp it back and put a new tire on. So I think it's great for NASCAR at least take a look into this.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is, obviously the next gen car is going to have its issues over the first few weeks. Hopefully this one is actually addressed and done. I don't want to see any more tires coming off of race cars. But
as a new car, there's going to be new bugs. We saw Formula One testing earlier that they had some issues with the car bouncing, as I showed Jimmy earlier, since he doesn't keep up with Formula One that much compared to me. But so new car, it's gonna have some bugs. So I'm glad NASCAR's taking a look with these wheel rims.
Yeah, I just hope that they get solved sooner rather than later. I don't want it like half the regular season to go by and there's still issues with the car. I hope they get figured out in the first 10-15 races of the season, and the rest of the season we can go quote unquote normal. But we'll have to wait and see. The next gen car is definitely promising, but as expected there's a few small issues. The tires is one thing. I'm sure a few more things will come up throughout the season as well. But now we're going to preview Fontana this week. The Xfinity and the Cup Series are going to be racing there. Saturday is a very busy day. Practice and qualifying for both series is that day, and the Xfinity race is that day as well, and then Sunday is the Cup Series race. Matthew, go ahead and give me a few drivers to look out for in the Cup Series that you might consider putting in your fantasy lineup this week.
Okay, so some guys I'm going to keep my eye on for the Cup Series this weekend at Fontana. Of course, it's going to be Kyle Larson, since he's actually won at California before back in 2017, and this is the first time he's actually been in California with Cendrick since they didn't race there last year. So I can't wait to see how he does there with better equipment. I'm going to also keep my eye on Kyle Busch. This is one of his best tracks. 4 wins at this track. The last time he won, it was his 200th win in all 3 series. It was also his first Cup win in 2005. So this is a significant place for Kyle. So we'll see how he does. I guess a third guy I'll be keeping my eye on is Alex Bowman. He's the most recent winner of Fontana, and he's already started off the year pretty well with being the outside pole sitter at the Daytona 500. So we'll see how that momentum keeps going. And I guess I guess my last guy I look after is our most recent winner, Austin Cendrick. He just won the Daytona 500. Now we're going to see how he really does with a non-super speedway race in a Cup car. So I can't wait to see if that momentum carries on. He even has a good finish, like top 10 finish, top 5 finish, or will he basically have a Daytona 500 hangover, be around top 15, top 20?
Yeah, there's some great people to look out for. I have quite a few of those right here as well. I actually already did my fantasy lineup, but just a few drivers I have on here. You already talked about a few, so I'm not going to hit on everybody. Tyler Reddick, I think he's one to sleep on. He's one to watch as well, because this is very similar. It isn't Homestead, but it has that vibe where you can run up against the fence, and we've seen how good Kyle Larson is here, and those two are almost identical when it comes to these kind of racetracks. So I have Tyler Reddick on here, someone to watch. I have Denny Hamlin as someone on here to watch. He almost won it quite a few years ago when Obviously him and Logano got into it, and Kyle Busch went on to win that race. And Denny Hamlin, I expect him to be strong almost all season long. This one might surprise you a little bit, but I have Kevin Harvick on here. I feel like Ford, they need to get off to a good start, and if there's a driver out there that could do that for them, I think it's Kevin Harvick. I don't specifically know his stats at Fontana off the top of my head, but I think if a Ford driver was to kind of get that going, obviously Cendrick did it at Daytona, but at these quote-unquote normal racetracks, I think Kevin Harvick is the guy to look out for. You already mentioned the other guys, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson. William Byron, I think, could be a sleeper as well, and Ryan Blaney. But the matchups this week are so tough in the NASCAR fantasy website. So let me give them to you really quick. I'll go through them and say who I picked, and then you can do it too. So the first one is Ryan Blaney versus Austin Cendrick. I'm going to go Ryan Blaney on this one because he's been pretty good at Fontana, so I'll go with him on that one. The next one is tough too. It's Alex Bowman versus William Byron. I'm going to go Alex Bowman on this one because he is our most recent winner at this racetrack. Alex Bowman and William Byron. The third one is Chase Briscoe and Bubba Wallace. I'm going to go Chase Briscoe there. And then the last one is Daniel Suarez versus Eric Jones. And I'm going to go with Suarez on that one. So, Matthew, what do you have to say about those four matchups?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really exactly looked at it fantasy yet, so I'm kind of behind on it. So
Matthew's not prepared, man. Come on, you guys gotta roast him. He's not prepared.
Whoops, that's a first.
All right, well, I gave you guys my opinion on those and who I think might do better for those. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for our predictions part of this video. But Matthew, do you have anything else to add before we go ahead and wrap the episode up?
I just hope Fox hires some new camera crewmen out there. Please give me better coverage this weekend. If we have to sit a third race in a row this year with bad coverage, goodness gracious.
Yeah, this is going to be like the first major race with the new 670 horsepower package, so I'm hoping it goes well. I'm hoping that there's a lot of good racing, that it isn't just a pack the whole time and you can't pass. This will be a very big indication of what the rest of the season is going to look like, so fingers crossed that it's a good race weekend and we have a good race review for you guys coming out on Monday. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned to our social media and all of that for our updates over there. But until next time, we will see you guys in our next video.